All right, let's keep this introduction short because I know all you guys want to see, and all I want to see, to be honest, is that fantastic interior of this new 2019 Audi A8. But this is going to be, of course, a full in-depth tour where I go around the exterior and interior features, talk about the powertrain, some of the different technologies in this car, and then take it on a quick test drive. But forget all that. Right now, let's just hop in and focus on that gorgeous interior. So, in my opinion, it's pretty much common knowledge that Audi is one of the best luxury car manufacturers of the modern world, and it's pretty much common knowledge that the A8 is one of the nicest Audis. If this is not the flagship Audi, it is definitely a flagship Audi, and that means the interior of this is pretty much the highest you can get as far as luxury and quality goes. We have a ton of absolutely fantastic technologies and luxury features in here. Something I love about Audi as a company is that they do a great job with their materials. The leathers in their cars, doesn't matter whether you're going with a base model or you're going with the top tier A8, pretty much everything you get from the sports division to the luxury cars, these materials are the best in class. In my opinion, they're just so soft and smooth. They feel really just right when you're holding them. The way the paddles click on the back of the steering wheel is perfect. The nice high quality buttons that just click so satisfyingly. Just all around this interior, as we can see, this one has been specified with a nice dark wood trim. It just feels right in here. We get standard 18-way power front seats, but of course, since this is an Audi, you can pay a little bit more and upgrade those to 22-way heated and ventilated front seats. And I can't even imagine 22 different ways for a seat to move. Like, how did they even do that? That's just ridiculously awesome. And of course, in the infotainment screen, you've got all sorts of different massage features, just really, really comfortable front seats. I also love this nice 4-spoke steering wheel. This is very different from every other Audi I've driven. It definitely has a nice feel to it. It almost feels like a land yacht, just the way this steering wheel is. Very comfortable to hold. Obviously, you can hold it up here like you normally would, but just the way it's designed, it's perfect to hold it down here and just relax as you're cruising on the highway. Now, of course, I'm going to get into the infotainment system and all that in just a minute, but first, some of the nice features you get in the A8. Obviously, a standard panoramic sunroof. That's a very, very nice touch. You've also got an available head-up display that will essentially project the statistics onto the front windshield. That's a very nice feature to have as well. And also, as standard, you get climate control vents that are hidden behind the trim pieces in the car, and those will actually fold back when you turn the car on. And quite a few things actually happen when you turn the car on. The steering wheel will lower itself so you're in the right driving position. The seat belts will automatically tension for you. The seat will move up a little bit to your pre-selected seating position. Just a lot of nice things that Audi does to make you feel at home in the A8. So Audi gave this car a 10.1-inch MMI infotainment touchscreen, and MMI basically means that it's going to work like your smartphone does. So you can swipe, you can tap, you can pinch and zoom, pretty much everything. And if you touch the screen, you press it, there's actually a little bit of feedback where the screen itself will kind of almost feel like it's clicking back like a physical button would. And I think that's just an incredible technology, the way they can make a screen feel so real almost. And of course, Audi has put customization in for over 400 individual driving features, so you can really fine-tune the way your A8 is going to feel when you're driving it. And of course, you can save these in different driver basically profiles, where when you turn the car on, you select your driver profile and it will automatically set everything, the seats, the mirrors, essentially everything to your liking for each driver who owns the car. Now, just scrolling through some of the features here, like I said, this screen, absolutely fantastic. Just as responsive as my smartphone is, and probably just as easy to use. As we can see here, we've got a couple different options for the car. You can control the air conditioning here, the seats, the lighting and visibility. Going back to the home screen, obviously you can see we have the phone apps like Apple CarPlay in this car as well. I believe that is a standard feature. I love the navigation on this system because it's essentially like Google Maps. You're looking at basically a satellite view. As you can see here, we're right in a back lot behind Crown Audi. Shout out to them for providing me with this car. Just super easy to use, super intuitive, super responsive. Now, if you're wondering why there's a second screen, well, this one down here is actually for the climate. You can control things like the heated and ventilated seats, the fan speed, the temperature, also things like your lane departure warning, and just a whole host of features that aren't necessarily for the main infotainment screen, but are still important to use. And as you can see, once you turn the air conditioning off, the vents will actually fold up, and then the trim piece will come down and cover it, so you don't have to look at any ugly vents. You turn it back on, it's going to fold right back out. That is a fantastic feature. Feels very, very upscale. Just love the way manufacturers are starting to put moving elements into the interiors of their cars. Here we go. I found the massage feature. Start. Oh, that's kind of an interesting feeler. Obviously, you can control the intensity of it if you don't want it to feel like it's punching you in the back, but just, a ton of different things in here. This feels, this is nice. This is the future, guys. And of course, you also have a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster that is just full of a host of customizable things. You can show your navigation or just your speedometer, depending on what you want to do. Now, before you leave thinking this review is over, don't, because it's not. Let me tell you what, these rear seats have almost as many nice features as the front seats do. Now, a lot of this is optional. Most of the features in the rear seats, you know, Audi doesn't know if their customer is someone who likes to drive or who likes to be chauffeured. So a lot of these features you have to pay extra for. And let me tell you what, there are a lot of them. Now, the first thing, and probably my favorite part of this interior that you can opt to have in the back seat, is you can choose to have foot massagers put in the rear of the front seat. So right here, where right now we have this nice soft leather, you can opt to have a foot massager put there. So say if you're riding in the back seat, you have, you know, your chauffeur worrying about all the driving and traffic. Well, you can put this front seat forward and you can take your shoes off and put your feet right here on the front seat and it will massage your feet for you. If that isn't luxury, I don't know what is. But of course, you shouldn't have to worry about how to control all this stuff. It doesn't have to be complicated. So Audi offers a remote control, a little touchscreen, essentially a little mini tablet that you can pull out of the center console, and you can press buttons on that to control everything in the rear seats, from the seating position, the foot massager, these spotlights up here on the roof. You also have some nice shades that can come up or down on these rear windows, so you can control that as well. Now, this car, I don't believe has that. That comes with one of the executive packages that Audi offers, but you can still see that you do get a nice screen back here to control things like the climate and all that. And when you've settled in and you don't need these controls anymore, you can just fold them right up. There are a nice pair of shocks that will essentially do it for you. And you have seating for another passenger, which unfortunately this is a little bit lacking because obviously you have drivetrain components coming through the interior. So there's a little bit of a lip there. So the middle seat doesn't have a ton of legroom, but as far as the other two go, I mean, I was incredibly comfortable up there with the seat just basically as far back as I wanted it, and here in the rear seat you've still got just a ridiculous amount of legroom. This is essentially an Audi limousine. Now in a minute we're going to take this car on a quick test drive and see how comfortable it is out on the road, but first I want to hop out and just touch on some of the exterior features. Now, of course, if you're buying an Audi A8, the last place you want to be is outside the car in the hot heat with all the plebs wandering around in the street. You want to be in that gorgeous interior with complete and perfect comfort and luxury, but there are some nice features out here that I feel obliged to talk about just because of the few people who might stand outside the car every once in a while and would like to know. Obviously, we have these very sharp Audi LED headlights. These are enormous. I don't think I've seen Audi with headlights this big in quite a while. Like, my entire arm could fit inside that headlight if I so choose. I don't know why I would. That was weird. Also up front in the front of the car, we have this nice chrome Audi single frame grille. Again, really love the way this grille is outlined. Super, super sharp look. It's not an entirely excessive car. Nothing's really exaggerated. It's not going to stand out too much, but you can tell if you look closely that this is a very, very luxurious, expensive car. And that's especially true with these rims. It's available with either 19 or 20-inch rims. I gotta say, these look a lot bigger than that. I'm starting to wonder if my numbers are off. You've got too many spokes to even count in this video, but they look absolutely fantastic. And then obviously in the rear of the car, more LED taillights, which will actually perform some sort of choreographed light sequence when you lock or unlock the car. With certain packages, you have to pay extra for that. And of course, you have some chrome exhaust tips, except they're not exhaust tips. They're fake. That's probably my one complaint about the exterior of this car, is those fake exhaust tips. But overall, this car is fantastic. Who cares about the exhaust tips, right? And no Audi A8 owner will ever look under the hood, but if you wanted to, there is a 3-liter turbocharged V6 under here that produces 335 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque for the 8-speed automatic and all-wheel drive system. And you're going to be looking at 0 to 60 in around 5.6 seconds, which for a car that weighs this much, that's pretty impressive. Like I said though, no one cares about the engine. It's all about the interior. Let's hop back in there and go for a drive. Huge shout out and thank you to Crown Audi of Clearwater for giving me this incredible opportunity. Surprisingly, it is not the most expensive car I've ever driven. I believe that still belongs to the Porsche Panamera Turbo. That car was listed around $127,000. I think this one is close, but not exactly. I'll have to double check, obviously. But regardless, price doesn't matter. I'm obviously not buying this car. I just have to say huge thank you to Steve Yeager, Crown Audi, everyone here. This is a really cool experience, definitely. So right off the bat, I gotta say, it's a luxury car. It's smooth. It just glides around all these turns. Obviously, I'm not going that fast right now. We're actually behind the dealership on a bit of a backlot for this test drive, but they have quite an extensive course back here to experience the car and give you guys my feedback. Something I love right away, you've got that head-up display in this car that is displaying my current speed right in front of me. It's not intrusive at all, but it is nice to have. Going over some speed bumps here, the suspension is very soft, the throttle is not that sensitive, which is good in a luxury car. Most of the time I review sports cars, you want it to be just super sharp. Everything in here is incredibly loose, it's easy to use, and it's just awesome. Again, a couple speed bumps here. It handles it beautifully, you can barely feel them in fact. Glides over all this rough terrain. Honestly, I don't feel any of this. I could be driving over pillows for all I feel. And it's super quiet as well. Obviously, I'm not going highway speeds back here. That would be very unsafe, especially in a car of this caliber. But you can tell it's incredibly quiet. It's not going to be that loud of a car. There's a lot of body roll. Obviously, it handles like a luxury car, as you can see as you guys go flying. And I did not take that turn very fast. But that's to be expected, honestly. You kind of want that in a luxury car just because it's more comfortable, not be stiff and rigid all the time. Does this car have a sport mode? I am young and immature, and I want a sport mode in my luxury car. Vehicle settings, Audi Drive Select. We have a dynamic, which is essentially sport mode. So I have put it into dynamic mode. We're going to do a quick acceleration. Probably going to become the first person to go over 4,000 RPM in an Audi A8. Oh, dude, this thing hauls. My microphone went flying. It hauls so much. Dude, I'm impressed, Audi. I am impressed. I was not expecting that, but obviously we've got all-wheel drive, 330 plus horsepower. It can haul if you want it to. So that was my test drive in the new Audi A8. Like I said, I wasn't pushing the car incredibly hard because I want to take good care of it and respect Crown Audi. And it's a luxury car as well. If it were a sport car, I might have given it the beans, as they say. But yeah, it was very impressive. I love the way that it's just so soft. You don't feel anything in the car. If I had the money, I would pick this as a daily driver in addition to all my Lamborghinis and McLarens. Make sure to check out my other Audi reviews, the Q8, the RS5, the A6. I've driven them all, I've reviewed them all, and you can watch them all by clicking on these links. Again, huge special thanks to Crown Audi for allowing me to review this A8 today. I'll put a link to their inventory below. But as always, guys, make sure to leave this video a thumbs up, comment your thoughts below, check out my channel, subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you all so much for watching.